Hey everybody, welcome back to Jimmy Does Coasters. Today we're going through my predictions of how likely every roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm is to be removed in the next 5 to 10 years. Alright, before we jump into the rides, I want to start off by saying that Knott's Berry Farm is a great park and doesn't need to remove any rides. But the big difference between Knott's and Magic Mountain is that Knott's Berry Farm sits on a much smaller plot of land and everything is much more compact within it. That makes it much harder to add a new roller coaster without being very creative or removing one. Especially now that Knott's Berry Farm is one of the 10 parks with presidents in the Six Flags portfolio, and the head of Six Flags said he wants to invest heavily in the parks that they keep, we might see some more aggressive investing, which also means a higher likelihood of replacing older rides with more popular ones if there's a chance. I think the main problem Knott's has though is that permitting, from what I hear, is much more complicated in California and specifically in that Buena Park area, but they're chugging along, so let's hop in. Alrighty, first up is Coast Rider, and I'm giving this an 8 out of 10 likelihood that it is removed within the next 5 to 10 years, and this is mainly because this is probably the least popular ride in the park. Now, I started a Reddit thread a while ago asking people what they thought the next ride to be removed at Knott's Berry Farm is, and tons of comments poured in saying, please let it be Coast Rider. And the main reason for that is a few years ago, a kid got in an accident and stuck his foot out of the car and it led to an injury. Now, to prevent that, Knott's Berry Farm has been made to implement shin guards, and they just press up on your legs really tight and it makes for an extremely uncomfortable ride experience. Now, that on top of low rider capacity and also slow operation times and also a lot of maintenance downtime has led to people saying this ride is better gone than here. Like, I think the ride being in the park makes more people upset than it makes them happy. Don't get me wrong, it's a really fun ride, it's a great layout, especially the kids love it, but as a big adult, it's just kind of uncomfortable now. And I think that all the feedback might get to Knott's eventually, and they'll remove this ride to put in something. The only thing is it's pretty compact roller coaster as Wild Mouses are, so it would be kind of hard to imagine them putting a big roller coaster in its place, because that's when you remove a roller coaster, you have to think, what are we getting from it? And the plot of land isn't particularly huge. But I think this one's going to be gone sooner than later, and mostly because of the guest experience. And also, the last 3 times I went, it wasn't even open. So I think it's time. Next up is Ghost Rider, and I'm giving this one a 3. This is by far the most popular ride in the park. It is one of the best wooden roller coasters out there. A lot of people have it in their top 10 of all the roller coasters they've ever ridden. And it is just the park icon. It's the identity of the park. It sits there with an awesome skyline going over the road you drive into Knott's Berry Farm. And there's just always a big crowd waiting in the line. So it would be about impossible to remove without removing the identity of Knott's Berry Farm itself. So no matter what this goes through, I think there's way more emphasis and urge to keep this ride alive because of what it means for Knott's Berry Farm. That being said, the things going against Ghost Rider is wooden roller coasters in general are just harder to maintain. They require a lot of upkeep and a lot of track rework. For example, it was really rough. I remember riding it, I don't know, a decade or so ago. But then they got major GCI retrack work done, which just transformed the ride experience, made it smooth again. So the retrack work shows that they're invested in keeping this ride alive. And Rafi, the park president, is the refurb king from what I've heard. So I think they're going to invest a lot into this ride. And they only take it out maybe if anything happens that is broke beyond repair. But I would be surprised if Knott's Berry Farm lets this coaster die, because they might just die with it. Hang Time 2. While this one is not as iconic as Ghost Rider, it is the newest major roller coaster in the park. It's very compact, super popular, and super reliable. People bag on this sometimes as one of the least popular Gerstlauer Infinity coasters, but I honestly think this is great and it draws tons of crowds. It's very unique for Southern California, and it also looks awesome as night. So for being such a new roller coaster and being so reliable and being such a crowd pleaser in such a compact area, I don't think this one's going anywhere anytime soon. Jaguar 5. Alright, so Jaguar is an old roller coaster. It opened in 1995, so it's been here for about 30 years. People call for this one's removal all the time because it's just less comfortable and not too exciting. I personally love Jaguar, and I think it gives you a relaxing and fun tour around Fiesta Village, takes you through MonteZooma's iconic loop, and because the entire roller coaster is above ground, is not taking up easy to use space for a roller coaster. Like, if they replaced Jaguar with another roller coaster, it would have to be another above the ground concept. So it's not like, oh, Jaguar is keeping us from building our next great thing, you know? It's in a giant Aztec pyramid, so all that scenery that's there is another reason to keep it there. But I have heard rumors that MonteZooma's Revenge is going to have their queue go through the pyramid. And that's kind of what has led me to giving Jaguar a higher rating than I would have, is if MonteZooma's Revenge is now going to use the pyramid for their queue, is Jaguar still going to have a queue? Is Jaguar still going to exist? I personally don't think that means Jaguar is out the door. I just think it means that maybe they're going to do something sneaky, refurbish the temple, and then use the queue for both of them. That would be pretty cool to give MonteZooma a more iconic intro as well. Now, people say the park president, Rafi, is the king of refurbishments. So I think more than anything, they'll just give Jaguar some TLC and give it some retrack work, and maybe share the tempo with both rides and make Jaguar a little smoother and more dynamic, but keep it there for a while, because I think it's a classic scenic loop around the village, and who wants to get rid of that, right? Before I get to the next one, I just want to remind you that I do release a new video like this every week, so if you're enjoying what you're watching, it would be really helpful if you would like and subscribe to keep this channel alive and give it the support it needs for the future. Thank you. MonteZooma's Revenge 3. This has a tiny footprint, being a shuttle launch coaster, and this is actually the park's first roller coaster, an icon that is loved by the guests, a great ride experience, and actually an ace landmark. So if there's anything that its refurbishment project going on right now should tell you, is that the park values the legacy of this ride and wants to keep it alive as long as possible. So I'm super excited when that's going to open this summer, probably in like July or August. Now, the only reason I didn't put this as a 1 is that we don't know yet how the refurbishment will turn out. This has been delayed multiple years, and so there could be a maintenance nightmare that makes the ride worth more torn down than it is standing. But right now, even with the 3-year construction delays and all signs point to this coaster being back in action and here to stay. Pony Express 5. Now, while there's no talk or rumors of Pony Express being removed, I don't know if it's going to last 10 years without being touched. Pony Express was a really exciting concept as a straddle launch coaster when it was made, but now it's a coaster that just doesn't really do much. So while it's not in any rush to be removed, like, you know, it has a small footprint, it goes over the footpaths and the rapids, so it's not in prime space for a new ride, I wouldn't be surprised if this was taken out to use that space for something and maybe replace it with something a little newer, like a Vekoma family boomerang, or maybe they can just increase the launch speed and double the length of the track so it's more than just a figure eight. That's the biggest complaint with Pony Express, is that Knott's Berry Farm, in my opinion, is a park that delivers the premium ultimate guest experience, tries to go above and beyond what they offer. I don't think Pony Express lives up to that. The trains fit the Old West theming, but it's just a simple figure eight track. To me, it feels like a bare minimum coaster, and I think people feel that, and I think Knott's feels that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took out this ride. I don't think it's iconic. I know there is a group of people that are diehard fans of Pony Express, but I think with how outdated this ride is and how replaceable and really how unmet its potential is, I'm giving this one it's a give or take, a 5. Sierra Sidewinder 3. So this is a relatively new ride. I mean, kind of. It's like 20 years old, 2007, and it's easily the most intense roller coaster in a kids area ever. So this is an awesome spinning coaster, and it's super popular, has a very compact footprint, so it's not really taking the place of a future project, and it's a pretty reliable ride. It's popular with families and kids. I think it's a great blend of thrill and family fun. So even though I often forget this ride is in the park because it's in Camp Snoopy, I think this is a classic that offers way too much for it to be worth taking down anytime soon. I think this one's here to stay. Silver Bullet 3. Now this is the classic B&M inverted roller coaster that you see right when you walk into the park. A lot of people bag on this roller coaster saying, oh, this is the least forceful B&M invert out there. But honestly, I love the ride. It looks amazing, first of all. It's a great flying experience. I say you got to ride it in the front, but I think for locals, this is an icon and it's a fun ride. And I have noticed when I've been there recently that this is one of the shorter lines in the park. I don't think this is in the top 3 most popular rides in the park anymore. But also the short lines could be because this roller coaster is just a capacity monster. Compared to all the other rides in the park, I think this one probably loads people in the fastest. So that's a reason to keep it alive, honestly, is you need roller coasters with good capacity at Knott's Berry Farm because frankly there aren't really that many. So Silver Bullet staying there helps Knott's more than it does taking it out. I think Silver Bullet is way too far back in the line of roller coasters to be removed. And also, this is an above ground roller coaster, like floating in the air. It doesn't really ever touch the ground. So with it being so high up in the air, removing it doesn't really give you any easy to use roller coaster real estate. You would have to build another high up above the footpaths and above the lake roller coaster. So I think this one's also here to stay for a good chunk of time. Snoopy's Tenderpaw Twister Coaster 1. This was a part of the revamp of Camp Snoopy, and it's the park's newest coaster. It's a kiddie coaster. Those don't really get taken out unless they need to redo the kid land, and they just did that. They're not going to get rid of this one anytime soon. Xcelerator 5. This one's kind of complicated. This is one of the most beloved coasters in the park and features arguably the best launch in any roller coaster. These types of roller coasters are a dying brand, as newer launch mechanisms have been invented, and there are only a few of these hydraulic launches left in America, the main one being Storm Runner at Hershey Park. The big thing going against it also is that Xcelerator sits on a huge plot of land that could easily be used for their next big project. Another rumor is that lockers have been added to almost every roller coaster in the park except Xcelerator, which makes people think, oh, well, they didn't add lockers to Xcelerator because they want to remove it. I don't know about that. But I do know that Xcelerator is very expensive to maintain, it has aging launch technology, and it sits on a huge plot of land in a very tiny park. Now, Xcelerator is a very unique roller coaster. There's not really a roller coaster like Xcelerator on the West Coast or even the Western United States, so it would be really hard to justify removing this with something else, because I don't know if anything else would make Knott's Berry Farm more unique on this side of the country than Xcelerator. Almost anything would be like a downgrade for what it offers to Knott's Berry Farm, California, and the Western United States. All in all, I wouldn't be surprised if Knott's Berry Farm didn't remove any coasters in the next decade, because they don't really remove roller coasters that often. But if I had to guess, the rides most likely to be removed or reimagined are, in this order, Coast Rider for its unpopularity, Pony Express for the unfulfilled potential it has, Jaguar for MonteZooma's reimagining and its old roughness, and Xcelerator for its growing maintenance concerns. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you disagree or if you have information that I don't. Open all your opinions. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to support the channel and see more videos like this. That would really mean a lot. Thanks so much. Jimmy out.